Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of the Kristian Harloff Show here. As you can tell, Kristian Harloff is off again today on New Year's Eve. I'm sitting in here having some fun with you all. Thanks so much, everybody who joined us yesterday. It was a real blast, but we got so much to talk about today. We got so much to get into, like Daredevil confirmed the Avengers. We've got some Air Force One sequel news, Blade Runner news, Sean Gunn news, Jason Momoa news, James Gunn news, Agatha news. We got all kinds of stuff going on. And of course, I can't do it myself. And you guys wouldn't probably pay attention the whole time if I was doing it by myself. So we got to bring in my co-host here from yesterday, from Spill the Tequila, from Game Time. And of course, he's the king of swag, has his own YouTube channel there, the Swaggy Blurred. It is Winston A. Marshall himself. Winston A., what's up?
Look, man, I am leaving 2024 sick. I hate it. I want to fight things, but I'm fine. It's like it's a cold, so it's one of those stop being a little bitch and go do your work. And I'm doing that. Wow. But I just also am ready to get out of this godforsaken year. I really am.
Well, Kristian Harloff not hosting the show for the rest of the year. So today, yeah, exactly. So he will be back maybe at some point this week. We will see. But we are handling, and I'm glad you're feeling better. At least you're going to power through today's episode.
That's what Dayquil and Vicks is for, baby. Put some tussin on it, as every black comedian has ever said.
the purple drink. Thank you all so much for joining. Here's the reminder, ladies and gentlemen. It is New Year's Eve. So I hope you all are in for ready for a show, because we're going to have a show. We're going to have some fun. Strap in, put on your seatbelt. Nestle into your little gamer chairs, because we got a lot to get into here, and we are gonna have some fun doing it. And the super chats are open, so send in your love here. It's the final one of 2024, so send in your love, send your support. If you want some questions, thoughts, or comments read by us and answered by us, then please send them in. And shout out to our brother Luke, who is holding down the fort, producing the show there in the back and handling all the technical stuff. So we will get into things here. So let's start off. Let's not waste any more time, Winston. Let's get into the first subject here. What do we got for us there, Luke? Here we go. Charlie Cox's Daredevil now seems to have been confirmed for appearance in the next Avengers movie. Earlier this week, we shared a rumor that Charlie Cox's Daredevil will likely play a role in Avengers Doomsday. That may be as a variant or in a key supporting role, which finally shows the Man Without Fear assembling alongside Earth's mightiest heroes. We know Cox is gearing up to begin work on Daredevil Born Again, of course, season 2, ahead of the first season's debut on March 4th already. But Different Health and Fitness appears to have just confirmed plans for the actor to join the Avengers franchise. It's been awesome having Charlie and his wife, Sam Cox, in at Different over the past few weeks. Charlie is currently training for his role in the upcoming At Marvel Avengers movie, where he will play at Daredevil. It's been our absolute pleasure working with you both, and we can't wait to watch you on the big screen. We can't imagine they plucked Avengers out of thin air, particularly with cameras gearing up to roll on Daredevil Born Again season 2 immediately. Cox is bound to have mentioned what project he's preparing for, so it seems that we can add him to Avengers Doomsday cast list, probably officially at this point. Cox did say earlier at Fan Expo Chicago earlier this year, I have to be careful. Look, I can't. I'm not going to say there are so many characters to team up with. There's one particular group of people that I would like to be invited to play with, but we'll get into that a little bit later. And there's the post. So clearly this was probably all confirmed by Marvel to allow Different to post this on their official Instagram. It's an odd way to announce this, Winston, but nowadays social media goes in so many different directions. What's your thoughts on Charlie Cox coming back in to be part of this universe officially, fully, and then a different gym announcing this thing?
Can you pull that up one more second? Like, sure. When did this post?
That's Momoa. That's a different thing. When does it post?
Because I'm just curious of when, because the story went up at 10 Eastern, so about at 7.
Now, when did they post it on social media, though?
Right. That is what I'm curious about, because did Disney say that that's okay, and is somebody about to get yelled at?
It doesn't say, right?
I'll see if I can find the post somewhere, because I don't want to mess anything up there, because that is my question, because Disney does not normally allow stuff like that to happen. That is not how they announce to the world, hey. Because what it almost feels like is he may have accidentally said something to them, but it's also like we knew he was gonna. This was 24 hours ago, so maybe not. Well, hold on. They've pulled the Avengers part, so it says Daredevil spotted at Different. It's been awesome having Charlie and his wife Sam at Different over the past few weeks. Charlie is currently training for a new role. It's been our absolute pleasure working with you both. So somebody see, and people are even in the comments being like, they changed the words. Oh Lord, he done got cussed out. That's my spidey senses were tingling. My Daredevil like blind vision was going off. I was like, no, they don't do this. Yeah. And I wonder now. First, you had Denzel ruining that Black Panther 3 was coming out.
Right.
Now you got Charlie Cox accidentally having his trainers being like, he gonna be in that new Avengers movie. Woo! Look, man, I'm gonna tell you right now.
That's a bad mistake, man. Yeah.
I am actually Batman. I detectived the hell out of that shit so fast.
You did. Good job, man. Yeah, I'm surprised by this too, because I don't understand these businesses going into business for themselves, and maybe because it's in Australia, maybe the the ideas we have here about how to handle things, how tight-lipped everyone is in America for fear, because we're a litigious society and we're also like hunting for scoops, maybe isn't quite the same way, because most Australians are very laid-back, self-deprecating people, and so to them this stuff is not that big of a deal. But clearly Marvel got a hold of them and said, take all that stuff down, and they said, all bad might, and they took it all down, changed the wording, but it says edited 23 hours ago. So, but people grabbed it because that tells you something. People are always hunting, people are always looking, and so I'm sure Marvel said to them, hey, let's not do that again. But what are your thoughts on this, on the news though, that Charlie is going to be a part of this stuff?
So on the news of him being in the movie, I would kind of expect no less in that.
Yeah,
this is supposed to be another big wrap up. This is supposed to be another like Infinity War Endgame type situation. So it would make sense that every character that we've kind of seen going forward would essentially get involved one way or the other.
Sure.
So I would expect to see Daredevil and She-Hulk and Shang-Chi and the Eternals, some of them, maybe all of them. Like I would expect that anybody that is still alive in an active part of the universe would show up in one way or the other. Yeah. Even if it's just like a Doom, like I keep tabs on everybody that's super powered, and then you just see, Daredevil jumping from a building to building, and then for the ones that maybe you don't want to engage or you can't get them to come on or whatever, then you just show footage of whatever project they were in previously. But I am not surprised, I guess. I thought I would maybe see him more in Secret Wars than Doomsday, but we don't even know what Doomsday is at this point and what Doom is up to. So it could be possible that he's already found Loki, knows that he, running like holding the whole of the multiverse together, and he's like, I'm gonna steal that power. And so we're able to see all of this. We've got the TVA with Loki and all that kind of stuff. We've got the fact that Strange opened up us, quote unquote, the Spider-Verse more or less. Like we have a number of different ways that this could ultimately play out. Yeah. So I'm just waiting to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, like he's going to be appearing in the Spider-Man animated series. He's going to be, to be a voice there. So apparently D'Onofrio is going to come back to voice Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, Wilson Fisk. So it's no surprise. They're going to try to, and it makes sense to put them all in Doomsday, the new characters, the new MCU people, the people who've been transferred over, like from Daredevil, from the Marvel universe on Netflix over officially to the MCU. Then because you got to lay the groundwork with them. Then the surprises come in Doomsday for the people coming back, right? Of course, rumors about, announcements about Chris Evans and Haley Atwell and other people, that's going to be saved for a separate thing. The interesting thing about the article, it says a variant. So are we going to get multiple Daredevils? Are we going to get Daredevils in different outfits from different universes that really get the fans going crazy and getting like these nerdgasms, seeing him in different versions of his outfit, because we saw that in She-Hulk, different version from the outfit he had in the animated series. So I would not be surprised to see different versions of Daredevil be a part of this. And why not? Charlie Cox is an incredibly damn good actor. So why not give him multiple roles of himself to play? I think that makes sense.
I mean, look, why not? Like, I feel like that would be I think that would be good. I think it would be very interesting to kind of see, what happens. It also is kind of fun sometimes to watch people play across from themselves. Like Nice Pool versus Deadpool was actually hilarious.
Right.
So, it would only make it even better in that regard. But yeah, essentially what you need to have happen is you need all of this to get wrapped up one way or the other.
Yeah.
So that you can really do your soft reboot. So whatever that looks like, whatever needs to happen for that to do it, but you need to bring everybody in.
I agree.
You do, so that we can say, cool. Y'all really weren't rocking with She-Hulk. So here she is.
Right.
And, we're able to close off the multiverse now, and she's in another universe. And I personally don't have a problem with her. But obviously people feel some type of way. So whatever you feel you need to, the stories you need to wrap up with a little bow, this is what this is ultimately going to be.
Little bow. Can you bring up the Mr. ND Fanatic comment there, Luke? That is hilarious to me right there. Josh Allen comes and protects his fiance during the climax. I can see that. I could see Josh Allen making a cameo protecting Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop there in the Avengers Doomsday. What do you think? Coming in as the MVP?
Why? He didn't protect anything. What are we talking about? This man until this year threw away the ball more times than any other quarterback in the league. He ain't gonna protect a damn thing.
Here we go. All right. Let's move on. We had 11 super chats so far, folks. Keep sending them in. Let's get to 50 today if we can. We'd love it. And of course, as I said, it's the end of the year. So send in your love as we're going along here on the show. All right. And let us know what you thought about the Daredevil stuff. I want to hear from you. All right, let's move on to this. Deadpool 2 director wants to helm Jason Momoa's Lobo movie. New Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow details land as well. Let's take a look at this. The news broke yesterday. Of course, we broke it on the show. We talked about it on the show, rather. We led with it. The news broke yesterday that Aquaman star Jason Momoa will play DCU's Lobo. Of course, the actor played Arthur Curry, Aquaman. We know that. The latter was poorly received and blah, 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 blah. Sharing an excerpt from comicmovie.com article, Momoa announced his casting as the main man on Instagram. James Gunn later welcomed him to the DCU, and the trades confirmed that he'll play Lobo first in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Multiple attempts have been made to bring Lobo to the big screen, blah, blah, blah. Now, John Wick Deadpool 2 and the Fall Guy director David Leitch has thrown his name in the ring and pitched a Lobo movie to Momoa that he'd be eager to take the helm of. Here it is. David Leitch wants to do a Lobo film with Jason Momoa. Can you go up a little bit more, Luke? Sorry, I wanted to finish reading that. Thank you, buddy. Let's do a Lobo feature. Pretty simple, straightforward, to the point. That would be quite the team up here, according to comicbook.com, given Leach's action credentials with a number of things. And back to Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, and Deadline has confirmed the movie begins production on January 13th, literally 13 to 14 days away. That would explain why Momoa's casting broke yesterday. How big of a role will the Aquaman star play in the second DCU movie? We're hearing it's more than a cameo. Oh, wow. And in a 2023 interview, writer Tom King revealed that his original pitch for Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, comic book, which I just bought the other day, featured Lobo as a co-lead. He said that book began as me pitching a Lobo Supergirl book, and it was my editors, Brittany Holzer and Jamie Rich, who were like, no, take Lobo out and make Supergirl the Rooster Cogburn character. And so it wouldn't exist without Jamie and Brittany. So it's scheduled to be DC Studios' second DCU title. So interesting stuff here, Winston. One with Lobo. David Leitch wanted to throw his hat in the ring. I mean, I would too if my Fall Guy just came out and really, ate the dirt box office wise. I'd want to attach myself to another project so I can get my name back up there. It doesn't mean he doesn't have a great pitch. It doesn't mean he might not have a great pitch. And then the other side of it, Lobo may be a bit more of a bigger role in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow than we thought. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, can you hear me? I don't know if I can. Okay, totally. Sorry. I don't know if something happened. Yeah, I just think that. Yeah. I just saw Fall Guy actually because I just saw it now, and I think part of it was that was more of a marketing thing. It's not because the movie. It's not because the movie was bad.
Yeah, the movie's not bad. I agree. The
movie's actually very good. I don't know what just weird just thing that went down with that. And he's had quality movies to his name, some that have seen box office success and some that haven't. So yeah, if you can get on board with a role that everybody really wants to see in the same vein that they wanted to see Deadpool, and he went and did Deadpool 2, it's clear that he knows how to do that.
Yeah.
So let him cook. I say why not? Like if his pitch comes in and it slaps and Jason likes it and Safran and Gunn like it, let him do it. But otherwise, I don't think there's anything wrong with pitching anything. Saying I want to do a thing, not a bad thing. Mike Kalinowski said I would love to play Green Lantern. I would love to play and that's fine, and he should. And he's actually a very good actor. I just know that how Hollywood works. So there's just. Donald Glover wanted to play Spider-Man and had a whole campaign going on the internet and literally helped make Miles Morales because of that said campaign. He didn't do it directly, but that was the creator of Miles straight up said, yeah, I mean, after seeing that whole thing, and I used Donald as somewhat of an archetype to help develop Miles. So like, I think all of that is like, go for it. Absolutely go for it. Pitch it. I hope you pitch something awesome.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I mean, it's an interesting situation because I want to be honest, but I also want to be fair in this, because I think David Leitch's movies are mostly C+ to B-, right? And what I mean by that is the action sequences are really well done. They are awesome and they're fun. And it seems like everyone is having a great time making these movies, but they're just missing something that makes them great. Like Atomic Blonde is good, not great. Deadpool 2 is okay, not as good as the first Deadpool. Fast and Furious, Hobbs and Shaw, that's a fun, turn your brain off, have a blast type of movie, and it works with the charisma of Jason Statham and The Rock. Bullet Train was fun. Probably the best thing he's done is a little, because the story held together a little bit better than some of the other films he's done. And I thought Fall Guy was good, but I could understand why people didn't 100% gravitate to it. So I think he's a filmmaker that's good, but not great. So it all just depends on what they want to do. If they want this to be like a fun ass action movie that's very similar to like 1980s, one man handles everything, Van Damme, Schwarzenegger, Stallone vehicles from the 80s, then I think he's the right choice for this, and Lobo's perfect for it. Also, Leitch's sensibility works, so I'm being fair to Leitch here. His sensibility matches Lobo's sensibility, so this could be a really good marriage if they can get a really strong story and Leitch can direct that with the action sequences. Then I think it's really, really possible. My fear is that with Momoa, sometimes he can veer into the all right, dude type of thing, and you don't have enough depth. So I'm hoping that if you do go this route, they'll really work hard on giving Lobo a bit more depth, because that's what's going to make all those comments resonate and all his sarcasm resonate even more. You know, I mean, Deadpool works because of the relationship with his girlfriend. Like, all the sarcasm is fun, but I think that's why it works. Yeah.
I mean, you just need to pair him with a good writer and a good producer, because again, all these movies that you just named, first of all, John Wick, I know he's uncredited, but he's a co-director with Chad Stahelski. So first of all, John Wick. Okay, that's the first part.
Right, but is that Chad or is that David? I don't know. But yeah,
David,
fair point.
If he is co-director, that means at minimum, he's sitting on some chunk of that movie. But let's be generous and call it 50% because it's co-director, right? Otherwise, they would have given him, they would have said he was, second unit or something like that.
Associate producer or something. Good point. Yeah.
Atomic Blonde, didn't see it, can't speak on it. Deadpool 2, I get it's not as good as the first. I would actually argue it probably goes, in my opinion, 132. Okay. But it still cleared $1 billion, I believe, didn't it? Or just under?
I don't know what it did, but I can look it up while you're talking. So keep going.
Hobbs and Shaw, you're right. It's a turn your brain off movie, but all of the Fast and Furious movies are a turn your brain off movies. So that's not a fair assessment. I guess we're talking about the franchise. They're fun. They're fun, but they're not. Nobody's going to this going, man, family. The only time you did that is when you saw Paul Walker drive off after he had unfortunately passed in real life. That was the only time you said, wow, this was emotionally a roller coaster for me right now.
How dare you?
Okay. And then as far as Bullet Train goes, Bullet Train was actually fantastic, but it got released.
I think that's his best one. Yeah.
It released during January. It didn't get quite as much push as it would. Like, are there things that could have been done better? Absolutely. But overall, like, it's still a good romp of a film. Right. I don't know why Fall Guy didn't do as well. I still think it's the marketing, because the first time I saw marketing for anybody that's not us, that's not in this space, was at the Oscars in a very weird bit between Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, where they're kind of fighting each other between Oppenheimer and Barbie.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be them doing their fight flirting that they do in the Fall Guy. And everybody's like, what is this bit? And to the point where people that I was at an Oscars party with goes, what's happening right now? I don't understand what's happening right now. Emily Blunt is, what is happening right now? So like, if nobody even really understood or knew the movie, and I get that the marketing, once they got into it, really went off without a hitch, but you took such a long time to get to that point that I think it was just too late. And then you were surrounded by what I want to say, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And
there were other things that came out. Yeah, for sure. Because it's summer. Yeah. And the other part of this too, though, Winston, I mean, you got to look at it. It didn't catch on at streaming. You know, you can say anything, and certainly I did going after The Rock, calling his Christmas movie Our Little Christmas Movie, but you can't deny that 50 million people, I mean, that's a lot of views for a film that didn't do well at the box office. Fall Guy didn't have that. Fall Guy didn't break any records from what I can recall on the viewing side streaming. So I think all around it just didn't quite capture people's attention for whatever reason. Maybe it's an old IP. Maybe you're right. Maybe it is marketing. Maybe people don't necessarily gravitate to the Ryan Gosling, Emily Blunt pairing. Maybe there's just something about it that didn't quite click with people, because I agree with you, it's a damn good movie. So that being, I mean, it's not like this guy's a desperate director, you know, who needs, or what. I just mean like this is a good pitch. He seems like he'd be a nice choice. You want to hear his pitch, and then we'll see what he does. What about the other side of this, dude? What about the idea of Lobo, a two-hander here with Supergirl, if that's what's going on here, or Lobo being an even bigger part of the film than you thought? Are you excited by that, or does that give you a little trepidation?
Yeah, I mean, again, the character is great. I think that Jason Momoa was literally born to play Lobo, so the idea of him being kind of at the like a major element of that, I think is great, and especially when you compare it to Supergirl, who can be like kind of crass and rough and tumble sometimes, depending on what character version you're looking at her for. But if we're assuming that she's going to be a little closer to her cousin and be more wholesome in that regard, with maybe a little edge on it, to have this dude coming in and running his mouth constantly is going to be hilarious.
Right.
So I think in like a good way, not in a way that takes away from it, but literally the idea of essentially pairing Jackie Chan with Chris Tucker, where it's this idea of like, there's a real case. The little girl is kidnapped, and Chris Tucker's like, do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? And I'm like, we're gonna get out of the two of them.
Okay. Well, I wonder about the whole situation too with because I mean I'm gonna get a little film nerdy here, but the article mentions how their initial thought for the comic book was to make Supergirl the Rooster Cogburn character. That makes her the focus. That makes her the more interesting character. Now, nothing against Maddie Ross in the original True Grit and the remake that Haley played so well, but like it's Jeff Bridges and John Wayne stealing both of those movies as Rooster Cogburn. So is Millie Alcock going to be maybe the more straight-laced rather than the Rooster, and Lobo will be the Rooster Cogburn? Because that seems to make more sense. Almost like you're redoing True Grit, but in the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow playing field. So it seems to be maybe they're going that direction. But if the reverse is true, that could be even more interesting, where Lobo's trying to calm her down. That would be fascinating as a kind of switching of roles, you know. So
genuinely, it depends. Like you said, it depends on which Kara you're getting, and if she's vengeful and angry and all that, then that would make sense. But yeah, the other thing, I just got a text from Matt Thomas, friend of the show, the buddy of mine. He was saying that Bullet Train, I messed that up. Bullet Train was released in August of last year.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That was last year, right? Not this year.
Bullet Train. Let me look real quick.
It was last year, but either way, the studio just didn't know
2 years ago, 2022. So
it was 22. We are losing so much time. We are losing recipes.
Right.
But either way, they didn't really know what to do with it, and that's true. And then Fall Guy, the one thing that I if I remember correctly, that I think was kind of a weird plan, and this is in part of the studio still trying to figure out what to do with all these damn streaming services that they threw out at us. They made it an exclusive to Peacock, I believe, when it first dropped on streaming.
Yeah, right, on Peacock, yes.
And I remember how much people were complaining about not having Peacock when the NFL put games on streaming last year. So it's like that is not one of the more popular streaming services at this particular moment. It's done better. It's doing better than it was.
Yeah.
But like Amazon, everybody has Amazon because, everybody has Prime.
Yeah.
Netflix has kind of taken over a lot of market share too. So it's going to take time. And sometimes that will go and bury something that you maybe wanted to have a second revival online.
I mean, the WWE was on Peacock for 2 years. So, I mean, it wasn't like they had nothing on there that was attracting people. So I think there were a lot of people on Peacock. But either way, you know what I'm going to say? It's $5. It's what you pay for a Starbucks. $5 a month is nothing. That's literally $1 a week. And so Like, I feel like
you act like they don't raise these prices every 2 months. Be like, hey, surprise, it's $7.99. Hey, surprise, it's $12.99. Hey, surprise, it's your firstborn child. And now all of a sudden, all your children gone, so you can have Max and Peacock and Paramount and Amazon.
Here's Billy Atwood. He said, I got Peacock for like $9.99 for a year during Black Friday. Not $99.99, $9.99, the $10 for a whole year. So the deals are out there if you want to get Peacock. And I think Peacock is good because a lot of they got that St. Denis medical one that's on there now. There's a bunch of the old Law and Order ones that are on there. So Peacock is worth it.
I like it, but you got to remember, we have been dealing with inflation for however long, stuff like that. People don't just willy-nilly spend their money like that. And you're also talking about most people on average have no more than maybe 2 streaming services. They pick and choose. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, I watch Friends all the time and I like DC stuff, so I'm gonna go get Max, and then Netflix is just a staple. So or they'll be like, you know what, I'm a huge Daily Show fan, and I also like to watch football, so I'm gonna get Peacock and Paramount because they both have NFL stuff. Like people do not. Truly, the average person does not subscribe to all of them because the whole point of cutting the cord was to cut the cord.
Right. No,
I don't know how we got fully off on this tangent here.
But I get it. No, I mean, I know. I'm just kind of the person that have that feeling about those things. But I understand that. Eric Kirby saying really well. Some of us are broke, Rocha. I was broke for many, many, many years. And so I understand. Not that I'm like swimming in money now, but certainly I understand what it's like, and you pick and choose. But I also know that I indulged at times and spent money on things that I maybe shouldn't have spent money on, like that extra appetizer or whatever, because I was in the mood that day. And if you look at your finances, you can figure things out if you want those things. But I also understand that people might not have enough. So, but anyway, speaking of finances, Winston, good talk on this one. But speaking of finances, Kristian Harloff here is going to tell us about Rocket Money that might help some of us maybe afford Peacock down the road. What do you got there?
I've told you about Rocket Money, guys, and the reason why for Rocket Money was so important is that I for a long time I used to do these things where I'd be on my phone and I'd start searching for these apps. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll sign up. Oh, for free? Yeah, it's free for now, but then it's going to be $20-$30 a month, and you forgot that you're even paying it. And I was like, oh, well, this Rocket Money lets you know about what subscriptions that you have that you're not paying attention to. It can cancel subscriptions for you. It really is amazing, and it just cuts so much time out of my schedule, and I love it because you don't even know how much you're paying in subscriptions, and you're probably paying way more than you think, because over 74% of people have subscriptions they've forgotten about, and I definitely did that. I can tell you that right now. Like, there was a couple. I'm telling you, some of these apps. I tried some of these apps and I'm like, oh, shoot, I forgot all about it. You think you spend around $62 per month on subscription, something like that, but it's close to about $300. It goes about $300 a month, because Rocket Money is also, it's a personal finance app, and it cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors all of your spending, and it helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Everyone that's using it, 500 million in canceled subscriptions. Wow. It saves about $740 a year. It's great. So stop wasting money on things that you don't use. You just cancel your unwanted subscriptions. You go to rocketmoney.com/thing, rocketmoney.com/thing. Very easy. rocketmoney.com.
Hey, it's the new year. Getting on top of your finances is really important. So go and check out the fine folks there at Rocket Money. I use them. Kristian pushed me. I finally did it. And it's amazing what you discover about what you're paying for, what you're not paying for. And you might find a little more of, shall we say, that change in the couch than you think if you go and use Rocket Money and get on top of your money. Look, it's not easy. I know. I have a hard thing with money myself. So you want these apps, these people who are going to help you, no judgment, and put things together. And you have a semblance of control, which I think brings a lot of self-esteem back to you and how you deal with money and how you deal with your finances. So check them out over there at Rocket Money, the fine folks over there at Rocket Money. All right, let's move on to our next comment here. And by the way, 14 super chats here, people. Come on, send them in. Let's get ourselves to 50 before we wrap up this show.
Did you just tell them all to go get all the damn streaming services now when they got the money for that, Rocha? This is your fault.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. All right, let's move on to our next one. It's a good point you make, Winston. All right, let's talk about Harrison Ford here, who is about to jump into season 2 of 1923, and a lot of people enjoyed season 2 of Shrinking. Well, there might be some more Harrison Ford on the way here. Back at the start of the year, Air Force One writer Andrew Marlowe said that various iterations based on the 1997 action thriller had been considered, but they never came up with an idea everyone could agree on. He did add that, quote, people keep talking about, quote, the film and the possibility of a remake, reboot, or sequel. Harrison Ford starred in the original film with the U.S. president who attempts to rescue everyone on board when a group of terrorists hijack his plane, Air Force One. Something may have happened, though, in the next year since those remarks, as scooper Daniel Rickman, Daniel RPK, my brother out there on Twitter land, is reporting today that Sony Pictures is developing a follow-up, one which may include the return of Harrison Ford's James Marshall character. He adds that it's not clear if it is a sequel or a reboot. Gary Oldman, Glenn Close, William H. Macy, Jurgen Prochnow, Dean Stockwell, Paul Guilfoyle, Xander Berkeley, and Andrew Devoff all co-starred in the original. The 1997 movie was a profitable hit, snagging $315 million worldwide off an $85 million budget, along with scoring solid reviews and 2 Oscar nominations, which I did not know about that. So interesting situation. First of all, let me throw a little thing. For those of you who watch sports documentaries, go on to ESPN at some point over the next few days. Watch the documentary on the Colorado Avalanche and how they were able to fund keeping a number of their players because of Air Force One. The owner of the team had to make money off of Air Force One in order to use those profits to pay the players to stay, or he was going to lose, I think, Joe Sakic to the New York Rangers. So Harrison Ford got on the phone and called the studios and had them move Air Force One, or had them move other films off of competing against Air Force One so we could make money. That's power, ladies and gentlemen. So, Winston, I'm sure you've seen Air Force One. What are your thoughts on a possible sequel? And the president can't still be the president all these years later. Do you think he gets voted back in?
It's one of my favorite movies. I love
such a good one.
It's so good. Gary Oldman at his best. Gary Oldman was on a string of being the bad guy like nobody's business.
Oh, agreed.
Like you had him in The Fifth Element. You had him in Air Force One. You could call him the bad guy as serious. We obviously know the truth. You know, spoiler alert for Harry Potter, I guess, even though the books and the movies have been out for decades now. Yeah. But like Sirius was looked at as this evil dude. Like I'm saying, he was on just a string of crushing it. R.I.P. man.
The Professional, Romeo is Bleeding. Like he had done a lot of kind of bad guy roles during the 90s. Great point.
He was absolutely killing it. And then it was peak Harrison Ford. You know, he kind of evolved out of the 20 hot roguish guy and became the 40s hot roguish guy where he was like, I'm president now, get off my plane. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it was just peak. So I would love to see a sequel, but it's the same thing that I feel about any of these times you want to do these sequels from 20, 30 years later. And it's not what, you know, Gunn again tried to sell of like, look at all the sequels that come out way later than that. Completely different. This is more in that vein now, looking at, say, a Top Gun. Top Gun wasn't expecting a thing, and they were like, maybe we should revisit it. And so if you can do what Maverick did, and you can go get a really solid script, put an awesome cast together, and then you kind of do the same thing where technically Harrison Ford is the lead, but he's kind of not. He's really handing it off to Miles and Glenn. And you should be doing kind of the same thing. Find a way to hand that off. So maybe what he is he's the new president is caught up in a situation and he's just a liaison to help. I've been through this before. I can help you get through it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. Yeah. That would make sense.
Would it be the son of Gary? It's the son of Gary Oldman? What do you think? What do you think? Are they going to do a little Rocky situation? What do you think is going to happen?
I could see that. I could certainly see that. But yeah,
killed my father. You killed my father. You threw him off plane. I come for you.
Well, get off my plane too. Get off my That's the name of the second film. It's not Air Force One. It's Get Off My Plane Too.
Get off my walker. Yeah, I guess. But, you know, certainly Harrison doesn't have a problem coming back for legacy sequels, right? He coming back for that sequel trilogy with Star Wars and was great as Harrison, as a Han Solo, rather.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Indiana Jones, Blade Runner 2049 as well, coming back. So he has no problem, I think, coming back to the films that kind of made his name and made his bones if the scripts work and if the things, because I would argue Force Awakens is the best of the three. I would argue Blade Runner 2049 is just as good as Blade Runner. I don't think I'd argue Dial of Destiny is better than than the original Indiana Jones, but it's certainly
better than
the
Crystal
fourth one.
Skull.
It's better than Crystal Skull for sure. Yeah,
Those
so
both suck.
better than better than the second one. So, but yeah,
sir.
No,
I mean, look, so a lot of people know that I just saw them for the first time earlier last year, because Dial of Destiny was last year.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
So I saw them for the first time last year, and yeah, I like Temple of Doom. Raiders, or no, other way around. I liked Raiders.
Yeah.
Temple was fine. I loved Crusade.
Yeah.
Hated Crystal Skull and Dial of Destiny. I was like, why did I watch these movies again? So it's like, so it is what it is, man.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Temple of Doom, but
Temple of Doom.
I like this comment. Can we bring in Anthony Cheeseman's comment, even though he's been riding my ass the whole show? Can we bring in his comment? I'll only see this movie if Clint Eastwood is the president. Come on now, Clint Eastwood and Harrison Ford, sign me up right now. Sign me up.
I mean, that would be a little more accurate as to what just went down. We just had two people in their 80s running for president, so just put Harrison Ford and Clint Eastwood running for president, and there you go.
The Republican nominee and the Democratic nominee coming together to fight the terrorism. I'm on board. I love this idea.
They're both instead of air. So there it is. Instead of like the president, who is whatever, he's on Air Force One. He can't come back in because he's done his 2 terms. So for some reason, the 2 candidates are both old ass men, and they're at the debate. The debate is held hostage or something like that. I don't know, man. Like
but people might cheer for the bad guy if he's blowing up the debate. That might cheer. I don't know. Internet hobos.
You know what you're not gonna do? You're not gonna get me messed up with the government. I'm gone. I'm not even here, Rocha. You did that. All right.
That means Clint Eastwood is too young.
Oh,
that's good. Well, we'll see. I love the idea. I love Harrison. I loved him in that movie, as you did, and so having him come back to play the role again, he's probably gonna be like an advisor. Like they go to him to be like, "Hey, this is happening. We need your help," or he's involved in some way. I'm sure it'll be like that, where they bring him in like 20 or 30 minutes into the movie, and he's off like chopping wood at some cabin in the middle of nowhere. Because he doesn't want to deal with it. So it could be fascinating for sure. All right, what do we got next here? Luke, what's the next subject or next topic? Oh, speaking of Blade Runner, here we go. Blade Runner 2099 wraps production. Filming is reportedly wrapped on Amazon Studios and Alcon Entertainment's sci-fi sequel series Blade Runner 2099 after 6 months of production in Prague and Belfast. God, I would love to have been on that. Michelle Yeoh and Hunter Schafer co-lead the series, which is yet to set an official premiere date, set in Los Angeles in 2099, which will be 50 years after the most recent sequel. Schafer plays a replicant named Cora, who has lived her entire life on the run, adopting numerous identities in the process. To secure a stable future for her brother, she assumes one final identity and is forced to partner with a Blade Runner named Olwen, that's Michelle Yeoh, confronting the end of her life. The pair become caught up in a widening conspiracy that poses an existential threat to a city that's fighting to be reborn. Shogun director Jonathan Van Tulleken executive produces and directs the first 2 episodes. Sir Ridley Scott executive produces, and Soka Louisa from Shining Girls serves as showrunner on this. And we got this from San Francisco Gazette. Blade Runner 2099, are you excited about a series? I mean, 2049 didn't do that well at the box office, but a lot of us who watched the movie loved the movie, and Denis Villeneuve did a great job directing it. Blade Runner didn't do well in the box office, but became a cult classic. So what are your thoughts when you hear about a series coming? Are you interested at all in this thing, Winston?
I'm about to be a really bad blurred and sci-fi head right now. I've never seen a Blade Runner anything. Not an original, not a 49, 99, only 2099. I know Spider-Man and Punisher and anybody in Rivals right now, because that's where it takes place, is in the future. But I'm not proud of myself. I only saw the Lord of the Rings movies fully. I had seen Return of the King, but I had only saw the Lord of the Rings movies fully during the pandemic because Rachel Cushing said, "I thought we were friends. How dare you?" And so I went in and watched it because I needed something to watch anyway. So I'm not proud of myself, but it is what it is.
I bet you'd have watched it if it was Blurred Runner. I'll tell you that right now. I bet you'd have watched the shit out of that if it was Blurred Runner.
Really? Come on. Because I just didn't even know what it was about. And it was just another one of those things where people were like, it wasn't it wasn't Star Wars, like you said, it was a cult classic. So there's just like a little bit of a difference there. That doesn't mean I don't need to, reassess my life choices, but I you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is.
It's a futuristic sci-fi noir, so it's very much that, but it does feature, Harrison Ford delivering one of his greatest performances. Sean Young, who's great, and Rutger Hauer is really incredible in the film with a young Daryl Hannah as well. And it's about they're given only so much amount of time to be alive. What does it mean to be alive when you know you're dying? And what do you do when you meet your maker, your creator? What's your reaction to it? What questions would you ask him? So it's a really existential, interesting film, but it also has some really good action sequences and a very strong monologue at the end. And then 2049 is just fleshing that out even more.
Let me add it to the list. I'm going to be doing reactions on my channel. I'm going to do this as a preemptive, plug here. I'm doing reactions in 2025, man. That's my project 2025. So if you guys want to come and see that, I will add Blade Runner and both Blade Runners to the list.
There you go. Yeah, good question. Will this be connected to 2049? I don't know. I don't know right now. Is this, people know the situation from the end of 2049. Is the young, is Cora, the Hunter Schafer character, is she connected in some way to Harrison Ford, to Deckard and Rachel, to their child? Is there a connective tissue here? So a lot of questions abound, but that being said, we've seen different types of Blade Runner. There have been animes, there have been one-off short films. So there are stories. I think there have been comic books and mangas maybe that were connected to this. So there's a lot to tell in this universe. So even if it doesn't have anything to do with Blade Runner 2049 or the original Blade Runner, it still is an interesting universe to explore. So I hope it goes well, and I hope it gets a second season. I hope it's good, really, more than anything else. All right. Yeah, what else we got here, Luke? What do we got here? Oh, yeah, James Gunn officially welcomes Aquaman star Jason Momoa to the DCU as a Lobo.
That's hilarious.
Look at that. Earlier today, one of the worst kept casting secrets in Hollywood was, this is Mark Cassidy saying that, was finally confirmed that Jason Momoa will suit up as Lobo in the DCU after previously playing Aquaman in the defunct DCEU. The Game of Thrones alum hinted at the announcements on social media, which was quickly followed by the trades confirming the news. As expected, Momoa will make his debut as the main man in Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. He's expressed interest in playing the role. We know that for sure. Just in case there was any doubt, because some people were saying online, well, I'll believe it when DC announced it. Well, DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn has now welcomed Momoa to the DCU with some new Lobo artwork, as you can tell. Look at that, wrapped in the American flag with a big old school cross on his chest there. So no words, just posting that particular thing. And then here we've got, welcome to the DCU, Jason Momoa. At Pride of Gypsies, that's Momoa's tag there, hashtag logo, hashtag Supergirl. He goes, so Lobo was ... I collect comics and I don't do much anymore, but he was always my favorite and I always wanted to play Lobo because I'm like, hello, it's the perfect role. This is Momoa talking. I mean, listen, if they call and ask me to play him, it's a F yeah. I haven't received that call, so I don't want to put any fake news out there, but if they ever call me and ask me to play or ask me to audition, I am there. Well, they did. And he has, and there you go. With a lot of fans, a lot of fans seem to be in agreement that this is a spot-on casting. The news has still been met with something of a mixed response. Since Momoa only recently played a completely different DC Comics character, the DCU is technically a reboot, but some characters from the previous era, including John Cena's Peacemaker, and some supporting players will return. It's something I brought up with you yesterday, Winston. How do you feel about this, Dylan? Sure, okay. Supergirl is scheduled to film early next year. Will also star Millie Alcock, and I guess that's a shot there of Millie Alcock and what she's going to look like in Supergirl. So pretty cool stuff there. All right. So, yeah, what do we say about this whole situation? Oh, she's at the U.S. Open. There you go. What do we say about this situation here? Winston, James Gunn welcoming him, James Gunn putting this big deal. We mentioned that and you said this, that it could be a distraction maybe from all the drama that's been going on. I saw other people feel the same way about it on social media. And then I saw other people say that was a ridiculous thing to say, that the film is shooting in 2 weeks. So of course they're going to start announcing people. So what are your thoughts on this?
I still, I stand by what I said yesterday. What I said yesterday of this idea of it felt like pull the ripcord. Like we need break in case of emergency. We need to just distract for a second. And not like because it's a bad casting or anything, but just get them hype about something so they're not complaining about something else. Is where I'm at. But I think the casting is going to be great. Like I think he legitimately, I can't think of another character in any of the superhero lexicon that Jason Momoa is more perfect to play.
Yeah,
just based off of his actual size, his attitude, and how he like carries himself. Even his hair. You don't necessarily need, like, it'd be cool to have the full kind of dreads he's going, but even just the way with his locks, like, and they're not obviously in dreadlock, but they're just his locks of hair already still kind of lend themselves to being Lobo. If you didn't want to do much more with it, like, he fits it to a T. So I can't wait. It's going to be great. But yeah, like Mark Cassidy said, worst kept secret in Hollywood. Genuinely.
Yeah. A lot of us anticipated this was going to happen. So, and James posting about it, I think was James' way of being like, yes, this is confirmed. No questions about it. This is going to happen. And then posting that quote. And I thought the artwork here was really well done in both sections of the artwork. So shout out to the social media people in charge of that on James Gunn's account. And the quote, putting the quote up from Momoa, making it very clear that he wants to play this. The mixed reaction is not a surprise. Winston, it's rare that anything gets announced that doesn't get a mixed reaction nowadays, And so it's not surprising to me. It just means that James Gunn has worked to make it believable that you have the same actors coming in to play different roles in your DC universe versus the roles they played in Snyder's universe. So how are you going to explain that? Of course, nothing's going to piss off the Snyder Bros more than having you bring one of Snyder's choices into the new DC universe as a different character. I saw a lot of people on social media who are Snyder fans upset about this and turning on Momoa for doing this, saying like, oh, you're betraying Zach by taking this role, and Zach gave you the opportunity.
Not to cut you off. So did Henry betray them by doing the cavalry? Like, was that, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody, there's a point at which, unless it's something where a universal resounding, yo, Sonic and them teeth don't look good, you need to go back to the drawing board. Otherwise, anytime someone in like a little collective does stuff like that, I don't care.
Of course
really don't, because we have now rewarded people complaining and acting like this to essentially rage bait whatever they want one way or the other. So I genuinely do not care unless it is a resounding across the board. Absolutely not. That is the only time where it's like, okay, maybe we need to look at this. But little collectives doing that, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you because, look, actors got to work. And they weren't doing another Aquaman movie. So the opportunity to be a part of a DC universe and appear in multiple movies and get that bank, I got no problem with that. And Momoa has always wanted to play this character. This is an opportunity to do it. And look, sometimes in Hollywood, your time can be very short. Being in demand. And so you've got to take advantage of opportunities to pop up. You weigh them, and if they work for you, you take them, regardless of what the fan reaction is. And so I think Momoa is making a great choice. But Gunn doing what he's doing, I think it makes all the sense in the world to underline his desire to see this and his excitement. And I wonder, how is Craig Gillespie going to do directing Momoa in this? If it's really good, do they start looking at Gillespie maybe to direct the Lobo movie? That could be interesting as well. If this is somewhat of a two-hander, it could be fascinating to see if Gillespie just kind of moves from Supergirl onto the Lobo thing. That could work, So we will see.
Mustard.
Well, let's move on to some Sean Gunn news now that we just talked about James Gunn. What do we got here, Luke, for Sean Gunn? All right, so Sean Gunn reveals how his take on Maxwell Lord will differ from Wonder Woman 1984's Pedro Pascal's take. Well, while most of the DCU actors aren't part of DC Studios' DC plans, the Suicide Squad star Sean Gunn has already landed multiple roles in the reboot, being mapped out by his brother James Gunn. He has stolen the show in Creature Commandos as G.I. Robot and reprised his previous role as Weasel. While he'll likely lend his voice to both characters in live action somewhere down the line, Gunn's main on-camera role will be the villainous Maxwell Lord. The character is expected to be a less full-blown baddie and more of an antagonist in the DCU, bringing the Wonder Woman 1984 character, where he was played by Pedro Pascal, more in line with his comic book counterpart. Superman set photos showcase the Lord Tech logo, and it appears Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and Mr. Terrific all work for Maxwell Lord, who in the comics ultimately breaks bad before getting his neck broken by Diana Prince. Spoiler, in a new interview with the Kristian Harloff show, do I have anything? Yeah, there we go. Gunn was asked how his DCU version of Maxwell Lord will differ from what Pascal did in 2020. And this is Sean Gunn's quote. You can watch this. This is on YouTube now, this interview with Sean Gunn here with Kristian. He says, I can tell you that the one obvious thing is it's me playing the role. It doesn't just mean I'm going to give a different interpretation. Your own body is the vessel for what you're doing. So obviously, no one is going to confuse me and Pedro Pascal's performance. So we're obviously going to do something different. So not a, oh yeah, there's more here. Okay. So I think that James is good at about directing me towards the relevant source material. So I think the whole concept of the character takes a different type of tack. I saw the movie, and Pedro is obviously a great actor, but what he does in that movie is not really relevant to anything that I'm doing. And in the comic books, Maxwell Lord was initially depicted as a shrewd entrepreneur and an ally to the superheroes before later becoming a major antagonist using mind control and manipulation to further his goals. He has clashed with various heroes, including Justice League, and in some storylines, his actions have had significant repercussions in the wider DC universe. So an interesting situation to look at here. He was not in the trailer, Winston. So this is a different approach to playing this character for sure. Seems a little more reduced in terms of its presence necessarily, but the fact that he's got all these superheroes under his control, that's going to be interesting to see how that plays in a film that has Superman, has the Authority, has these people, and has a bunch of other people showing up here in Clark's life. So it's a fascinating decision. I like Sean Gunn as an actor. I think he's great what he does. He kind of is in the basket with Alan Tudyk and Andy Serkis in terms of his ability to use his voice with motion capture and his body. So this will be an interesting role for him to take on. What are your thoughts on these comments and how he's differentiating himself from Pedro?
Okay, so you know how I mentioned I'm on like a trip of trying to play catch up with all the 2024 movies.
Yes,
that are going on. I think I kind of have an idea of how Superman is going to play out a little bit. Did you see the straight to Paramount Plus movie Dear Santa, where that
the Jack Black one, yes.
Yeah, he accidentally writes to Satan, and then that whole thing. You remember how in that movie that kid is essentially, even though he's had some real dark things happen in his life, with the exception of one little moment, is completely incorruptible.
Yes.
I have a feeling that is what we're going to see, is that we're going to see a Clark in a world that is just gone up one way or the other. Like it's not, things aren't well. These other heroes, they're heroes, but they're wearing Lord Tech, as everybody's kind of pointed out, as far as their uniforms and whatnot. So whether it's because of mind control or money or whatever it is, they're probably not doing the thing that they need to do. And picking Guy Gardner of all of it, who really can be kind of a tool. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like that, that was a great choice for that. Hawkgirl, similar to Carter, Shayera can get very rage filled as far as stuff goes. So all of that kind of lends it to something like that. You see people throwing stuff at Superman and all that kind of stuff. I think he is the one incorruptible thing in the world, and he is thinking about his mom and his dad, you know, his earth parents, mom and pop Kent, and trying to restore order. So that's where I kind of feel like that is fitting. And so I think it's perfect that Sean and his Maxwell is not front and center. It's definitely there and will be there throughout and will be another one of those things. But I genuinely think this is one of those situations where he is meant to be a force that's around, and he will get a moment where then they need to come to Jesus with him and be like, all right, dude, you're a problem. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where I'm thinking this is going.
Yeah, it's interesting to have Maxwell Lord and Lex Luthor in the same movie, Winston. So is this like, you know, you've got your main baddie, but is this like a, you know, like a lower level baddie, but still a baddie in his own different way, you know, and essentially 2 billionaires in this movie being evil. And so where are we? What's the commentary on this? The idea of these superheroes essentially being bought and paid for by a billionaire to do what he tells them to do, wearing the outfits that he designs for them to wear, uniformity. So is this, and as people referred to, and someone made in the comments as well, and I said this the other day, like this is a little bit of Kingdom Come, right? Is Superman coming in, whereas in Kingdom Come, he comes in older to teach the young people. Is Superman coming in here now to change what is happening and maybe pull Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, Metamorpho, others away from Maxwell Lord. And does that cause an issue for Maxwell Lord? How does he react? Does he work with Lex? Does Lex go after Maxwell for trying to get on into his territory? So, we saw this with Justin Hammer and Tony Stark, right? The idea of, hey, one billionaire at a time in control in the situation. So I think that's going to be interesting. And I trust Sean to deliver a completely different Maxwell Lord than Pedro did, because Pedro served a completely different master in that movie, Wonder Woman 1984, than Sean has to do in this movie. So I think it makes all the sense in the world. And
hey, look,
good actors do that. Yeah.
Pedro Pascal's Maxwell Lord was good, but it could be better.
Give me the rock. Yeah. So, that movie. Why are you grabbing my leg? Oh, that movie. Anyway, all right. So let's hit a couple more stories, then we'll hit these super chats. We only have 24 people, so send in your love, send in your support. It's the final episode of 2024. Give us some love. All right, let's move on to this Agatha All Along story here, Winston. This person is saying Agatha All Along now officially listed as season 1 on Disney Plus. This is Mark Cassidy again here. Recent rumors have claimed that Agatha All Along will return for a second batch of episodes. And while Marvel Studios had yet to make it official, the WandaVision spinoff, which was originally tagged as a miniseries, is now listed as season 1 on Disney Plus. We already had a pretty good idea that Marvel had plans to renew the series when Disney submitted in the comedy categories for the upcoming awards season. Catherine Hahn was nominated for a Golden Globe on that. Since the Television Academy's criteria for limited series state the program must tell a complete, non-recurring story and not have an ongoing storyline or main characters in subsequent seasons. And we know the season finale concluded with what it can. I'm not going to give any spoilers there. We know dying in the Marvel Cinematic Universe doesn't necessarily mean the end of the road. So despite the show's popularity and strong viewership, some feel that a second season would be unnecessary since the upcoming Vision series has been described as the third part of a trilogy. So do we like this idea of a season 2, Winston A? What's going on here?
I'm laughing because you're like, I'm not gonna give the spoiler away, and then tried to skim the next sentence and said, Jesus, I think I just gave a spoiler away.
I didn't say who. I didn't say who it was. I didn't say who died. I didn't say who died.
It's also been a few months. There's only so much you can give to that. But
look, somebody yelled at me yesterday for giving away some spoiler from something from years ago. But I don't know. I can't help you guys all the time.
Bruce Willis was dead in The Sixth Sense. Rosebud was the sled. Michael becomes the Godfather, and he's just like his daddy. So look, it was a good show. It was a good show. So it is what it is. I hope they don't shoot themselves in the foot for any potential awards here.
I want that on the poster. It was a good show, Winston and Marshall.
It was a good show. But yeah, no, I think just that. If they have another great story to tell, it did seem like it was supposed to be a 3 limited series trilogy. WandaVision, right. Agatha, what Vision Quest was it? Was originally called? Is it still called that?
Yes. Yeah, okay. For now.
That was supposed to be the trilogy. So if they want to do something else, then that's fine. But like I said, I understand it's show business and you're in the business of making money.
Yeah.
Do not do something just because you're like, print more bread. If this was the game plan and the game plan is sound, there's nothing that says that you couldn't finish Vision Quest. And then after you finish that story, you go back and go, maybe we can do something else here. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. But do not abandon ship if the plan so far is working. And so far the plan is working. So
I think it's a fair concern you have, right? Because it wasn't written with the intention of getting a second season, but neither was Shogun. So we're going to find out what a second season of Shogun is going to be like without any source material, right? So we know what happened in Game of Thrones when they went off the source material. You argue that last season and a half.
Well, whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? That is George R. Martin's fault, because that motherfucker has had years. He's had years, and he decided, now I'm getting that HBO money. I'm good, bro. I ain't gotta do shit. That's what that was. But because I fully agree. The minute they ran out, it shit the bed. I did not really like how that wrapped up. There were some good moments, but overall, I was like, but why?
Right.
So,
Yeah,
it is what it is.
I think they're going to have to prove, as you just said, I think they're going to have to prove the reason for a second season, because that first season was so good. And look, it came at a time when Marvel was reeling a little bit, right? And so the fact that a lot of people enjoyed that, and what it eventually, and the story it eventually told, and how it ended up. And look, the ending leaves like the opening for a season 2. So it seems like that's where they're going to go. So maybe there was like an initial, maybe there is an outline for a season 2 that they kind of kicked around if people liked the show, because clearly there's another thing they have to go after that they tease. So will this be the second season? And where along in the Marvel Cinematic Universe will this occur? Because we got an Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars coming, Winston. There's like a limited amount of time. So you kind of would have to get this in production pretty quickly so that you can have all those characters popping up in Secret Wars.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, we honestly, it's just hard to say. I am tired. I'm not saying that you don't evolve.
Yeah.
Again, I love to tap into sports because sports are great metaphors for life. Yeah. If you set up a game plan and this is what you were doing, and we know that this defense works this way, so we're gonna run the ball because they can't stop the run defense. But today is the day that they somehow figured out how to stop the run. But you notice that your top receiver is open, you start throwing the ball. So if what you're saying is that this is not, but that's because it's not working.
Right.
The game plan is working. Do not change what you're doing, because this is one of the few things in the MCU right now that has been consistently pretty good.
Yeah.
So like, I would say don't mess that up. But again, I'm not the one being paid millions to do this stuff. I'm just some guy on the internet. So it is what it is.
I'm just some schnook that likes to get pushed around. Yeah. Kristian Unpronounceable says this, right? The Squid Game creator was so stressed his teeth fell out. Yeah, I mean, there's like 7, just to get those 7 episodes for a season 2 when there was no intention of doing a season 2 was probably very, very tough for him. That being said, a lot of people are saying that this second season is really good. We're going to start it as soon as I'm done with this show, me and the Lady Outlaw. So I'm looking forward to seeing how good it is. It's only 7 episodes.
So excited for you.
You really? Did you like it?
It is fantastic. Okay. And because I'll be honest with the way the first season, when it started, you kind of like foot on gas from the start. This kind of has a slow start to it. It actually reminds me of Sonic 3, where I was like, I think I'm bored. Like that's not good. But once you start running, you don't ever stop at that point. I was like, oh, they found out how to do this again. And then you're stressed out for different reasons.
Right.
Like that's without giving anything away to you.
Yeah.
You get stressed out for similar but very different reasons. So the things initially, like, minor spoiler alert for the first season of Squid Games, that those first set of killings.
Yeah.
You know how all of a sudden you're like, oh, no.
Yeah.
When the killings show up here, you don't quite have that same feeling, but you do once you start caring about these people. And then all of a sudden it clicks and you're like, oh, we're back. Oh, crap. So
back. Oh, that's great. I can't wait. You know, I started last night, Black Doves on Netflix. That is a good show. Black Doves with Keira Knightley and Ben Whishaw and Sarah Lancaster. That is I'm not the biggest Keira Knightley person, so I was kind of hesitant walking into this. But the first 2 episodes were excellent. So we are definitely going to finish. It's only 6 episodes on Netflix, so I highly recommend that one. And we caught up on Landman. Still, that's a damn good show, y'all. All right, where we go? Do we have another story? Then we got to get to the super chat soon. So do we have one more story here, Luke? What do we got here? Anything, or shall we jump into it? What do you got, Luke? Luke? Hello, Luke. All right, I guess we'll just go.
He's there. Oh, it's fine.
Is he? Did I see him fumbling around? Is he fumbling around?
He's probably taking a piss.
Hey, look. Oh, yeah, here we go. That's it. Apple TV is free for the weekend. So in case you don't know that, Apple TV, wait, that's it. He just threw one up there. Thank you, Luke. But real quick, Apple TV is free for the weekend. So I hope you all take advantage of that. We've got a new season of Severance coming. So for those of you maybe want to catch up.
When?
This weekend.
It comes out this weekend?
No. Oh, Severance is coming in about 2 weeks. I think the 17th is when it comes out, or the 14th, something like that, in January. So if you haven't watched it, definitely go on this weekend. There's a lot of good shows on Apple TV. You got a Monkey. Was it the Bad Monkey, which the Vince Vaughn was really good? Silo, the Wreck of Ferguson.
Morning Show, which kicked it all off, man.
Which one? The Morning Show, right?
The morning show, Shrinking.
Yeah. Is it For All Mankind? That's Apple TV.
For All Mankind is on there. Oh my God, Mythic Quest. I don't know if that's still on, but that was great at its peak. Like the funny thing is, Apple doesn't bother to advertise this because they know most people have one Apple product somewhere and they can kind of tease it there.
Yeah.
And B, this is literally a side quest hobby for them.
Totally.
They're $1 trillion company. They don't care. They're just like, make it, whatever, make it. And then if they build enough infrastructure up and can keep Ted Lasso, if you keep building that out, you're gonna keep attracting more and more stars. And then one day, if you're like Disney, you don't want to make movies no more. Give me your that's So
also, I recommend Bad Sisters. I finished season 2 last week. It's really good. Both those seasons are excellent. Presumed Innocent, the Jake Gyllenhaal one, is on Apple TV as well. There's so much for you all to watch, and of course, Saul chiming in, pushing his own show, Monster Factory. He says, "How about Monster Factory? That is also on Apple TV if you want to watch some up and coming pro wrestlers trying to get into the business." I don't know if Saul is in the show or not. Him and his beard. So look at this banner: Apple TV Plus free this weekend. There it is. There's Saul. Could ask me nicely, but no, leading with the rage, which I appreciate. All right, so that's it. I think that's
what you were built off of was rage. Saul adopted the rage. You were born in it, Rocha. Okay.
Use the rage. I was born in rage. Where are we go? Did you want to put up the Spider-Man? I think we should hit the super chats, man. We're at like 115. We have 25 of these. We should knock these out. And if there's time, we'll talk the Spider-Man animated one on the back end. So let's get into the super chats here, Luke. Shall we drop those? All right. Gopal Sarngadaran. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry if I'm not saying that right. Sarngadaran. I can't make the live today, so here's some support to close out the year. Thank you, Gopal. Appreciate that very much. Hope you're doing well. And another one because I missed yesterday. Oh, very kind. I like that logo. Respect. Thank you. Buster Barnes. Heard some DCU Batman fan cast yesterday, so thought I'd throw mine in the hat. Brandon Sklenar from It Ends With Us in 1923. Also, Gyllenhaal as Two-Face.
I actually don't hate that.
Yeah,
I can see that he's aging pretty well. Where he's one of those white dudes that like could be mid-30s to early 50s and has kind of looked that way for like a decade.
You're talking Gyllenhaal,
Gyllenhaal. Yeah. So I think Two-Face actually would fit well on him.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw him as Mysterio though, so I don't know. But I kind of like the Brandon Sklenar idea. You know, he wasn't in Ends With Us, right? But he's apparently damn good in 1923. So maybe that could be an interesting guy to look at for Batman. I could see that. All right, what else we got, Luke? All right, Roman Fedoric. Hey, Roman, haven't seen you in a bit. Hey, Rocha and Winston. Hope this New Year's treats you both well. Same to you all. Talked about overlooked faves and worst yesterday. Any films you found overrated from 2024? Thank you and keep doing you.
In my list.
Overrated films of 2024 as a list.
Oh, there were definitely some. I just don't remember off the top of my head, which is why I started writing all this down because I'm getting older and I got to hold more things in here.
10 more. Okay.
I guess. Bob Marley was fine. I enjoyed it.
I got one. Go ahead. Yeah.
Bob Marley was fine. I enjoyed it. But it wasn't blow your mind good. I would say I really liked Monkey Man, but I still stand by I went back to watch my review and remember what I had a problem with. It was the extreme close-ups and close-ups the whole time. It made me uneasy, and I couldn't always keep up with things because of that. I don't love action films that never pull out a little bit and let me see some of the fight choreo, and that happened a lot in that film. So it's a fantastic movie, but it is a little overrated because of that.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
I got Twisters. I don't know what movie you all saw.
It was good.
Because I went to see that movie. I did not like that movie. I thought all y'all going
Really?
crazy about that movie. You have no idea what you're talking about. I was bored out of my mind. The Anthony Ramos character, they did him dirty. Anthony, stopped taking these roles. And I was just like, I was just so disappointed by the end. I'm like, I didn't enjoy this thing at all. So I just was really surprised at how much I did not like it. And I think everybody loving it. It's a bit overrated. I'd also say Beetlejuice. That was also overrated. A lot of people said they loved it. It was damn good. It was not a good legacy sequel, which really upset me by the end because I love that movie.
Yeah, I got two more. I would say Twisters is a little overrated. It's good. It's another one of those movies that's all of my overrated movies are good.
Okay,
they're that good.
Okay,
so like Twisters is good, but it is not this. I have a friend who is so obsessed with Glenn Powell. And I tell you, she has seen Twisters like 10 times. Like, what are you doing tonight? You want to go out with the crew and go get a beer? Nah, I'm gonna watch Twisters. So you're gonna Netflix and chill by yourself to Twisters, is what you're telling me. Yeah. Or the other one was Inside Out 2. Inside Out 2 is good. I do think it is a good movie, but I found myself in the beginning a little bored, and part of that, ironically, it still made my top 10, but spoiler alert, it's number 10 for me.
Right.
It brought it at the end, but the fact that Joy, within the first 5 minutes, has learned nothing. And is making the same mistakes, like just in a slightly different flavor. I was like, come on, really? Because at least with if you go to the extended sequels, when you look at Incredibles 2, Mr. Incredible ain't out here trying to live whatever glory days and hiding things from his wife.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he learned a little bit of a lesson, is now learning a new one. Yeah. It literally felt like Joy learned nothing to start off this movie. And that's when I was like, But what brought it back is the way that they really incorporated the new feelings and the new emotions and ultimately got to that point. I thought they did really well.
I thought Heretic was going to be overblown, and then I finished watching it, and I actually really enjoyed it. So I liked Heretic for sure. Good points on Inside Out too, though. I hear you, Winston. It was a little bit repeating the patterns, but then moving on. Chris all says, who do you all think will be the villain in the Red Hood and Nightwing movie?
Sionis. Roman Sionis, aka Black Mask. I think that would be a good option. Okay. Blockbuster could potentially be. Am I mixing stuff up? Because Blockbuster, not Blockbuster is DC. He might be Marvel. I'm the Dayquil is wearing off. No. Scarecrow could also be really interesting. To be honest with you, I think Scarecrow could be a very interesting pull, because then, like that, if Jason is the fear of dying again, and then you're having to deal with his rage of I'm not gonna die again. Like both of those could be really cool.
I think it's gonna be James Gunn when he cancels it. So all right, let's move on. Mike Joy says, I got my vehicle emission test done today. Oh, I remember those. And as I drove away, I heard the attendant say, so many mistakes. Soon they'll learn. Am I cursed now? Yes. Listen, there are two things you need to take care of in your life more than anything else: your car and your body. And they're the two things that break down the most in your life: your car and your body. So if you think you can overlook taking care of your car, it's going to catch up to you at the most inopportune moment when you're stuck on a highway late at night and it's snowing. Same thing with your body. If you don't take care of your body, you're going to catch yourself. What?
Make him way downtown.
So, you might be cursed, Mike. Take care of business. He said, have you heard of Hundreds of Beavers? It's a fun, quirky little comedy. You can watch them for free on YouTube now. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch this one. I have it on my Critics' Choice app. I haven't watched it yet, but I hear some people say it's really good. It's a very funny movie. So I got to give this a chance on a Saturday or something. What about you, Winston? Have you heard of this movie?
I have not heard of this movie, but I will check it out.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's keep on going here. Chiron Broderick. I know that ain't who I think it is. Watching Superstore right now in Winston. Is that you? Yeah.
That is indeed me. Yes, it is. My favorite restaurant was shut down because of the pandemic. That is so. Yeah, if anybody hasn't seen it and you would like to see me on the TV or in a movie, the final season of Superstore, the first episode.
Okay.
The season premiere. So yeah, that is indeed me.
I've been enjoying I enjoyed Man on the Inside, the Ted Danson one, and that is the same creator who did Superstore and Parks and Rec.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think I need to give Superstore another chance. I didn't like the first 2 episodes.
Oh, dude, it
Maybe I need to power
gets
through.
its footing. It gets its
Yeah.
footing. I fell in love with that show. Same thing. I was just like, okay, it's another, workplace comedy. It's fine. I was a little salty at first because I was writing a pilot about my experience working at the Apple store, and I was like, man, there goes the idea of like a retail show. But that's a very specific type of retail. My stories are very different because the setting is a little different, including the corporate energy is still there, and like we're a whatever family, but the Apple one is very specific. So
well, it's like you say all the time with the pushback on the English teacher. Look, Abbott Elementary is out. Why do I need things? There are different versions, different. There should be allowed multiple interpretations of what it's like working in an office, because all of them are different for different reasons. All right, what we got next here, Luke? Carver Tate. Hey, Carver. Thank you so much for all the joy and entertainment you both have brought me this year, especially these last 2 months, as I've recovered from ACL surgery.
Ooh, Lord, I'm so sorry.
Carver, did you turn left when you were meant to go right? How did this happen?
Zig when you were supposed to zag?
Were you playing for the 49ers this year? I mean, how did you get
too soon? Not really. Say it again.
Freddie, how's your arm? I can go, coach. I can go.
Ooh, yeah. Dude, causing me unnecessary stress last night because I was up 45 and this dude got within 13 points of me.
Wow.
Because Debo only had that one touchdown because Purdy threw it to everybody, including the one touchdown he had. Even though it was in the backfield, it was a little light like this handoff. They called that a pass.
That was a pass.
So Purdy also got a touchdown for that. I am so mad. But I won, so we're fine.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the kind comments, man. And we hope you recover from the ACL surgery. Take it easy, take it slow, get yourself back going. And look, a lot of people come back from ACL surgeries just fine. So just listen to your doctor and take care of yourself, and listen to your body more than anything else, please. Kristian Unpronounceable says, I just want to wish you guys and Kristian and everyone in the chat a wonderful New Year's Eve. Yes, absolutely.
That's what's up. Thank you, Pimpin.
Same to you. Be safe, everybody. Mir Jam, Serenity Moon says, I want to wish you, John and Winston, a wonderful New Year. Hope it will be a great one for you both. Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I do.
Yeah, me too. 2025, man. It's going to be interesting for sure.
Sure.
We'll see if we're still. Never mind.
Chill.
Matt Sinister McCall says, saw Complete Unknown. Tim gets the Oscar, but I don't think Bob needs a movie. The conflict in the story isn't major compared to Walk the Line and Straight Outta Compton. Okay, so let's address this, because Timothy Chalamet is fantastic in A Complete Unknown. So is Monica Barbaro as Joan Baez. The conflict there is a kid trying to become successful in something that he's always loved since he was a young child, and how that all comes about. And when he becomes successful, how he destroys the thing that helped him become successful. So I think there's much more conflict than you think going on. Just because everyone's playing nice about it doesn't mean there isn't still a very strong amount of conflict in that. And Straight Outta Compton, give me a break, man. What's the conflict in Straight Outta Compton exactly? What's the conflict? Because they didn't show the real conflict of what was going on with those guys.
The first conflict was, man, this world out to get us. We should rap about it. Man, these cops beating our ass. We should rap about it. Man, this dude is ripping us off. We should break up and rap about it. Man, you got AIDS. We should rap about it. There was like some, but yes, you did leave out very key moments because you really wanted to paint yourself in a particular light and didn't want to call attention to it. But yes, there was a lot of domestic violence, especially on the part of Dr. Dre, which is all public record. I'm not making stuff up. You can go look it up.
I know.
They decided to leave out of the movie. So
yeah, because they were all producers on the movies and didn't want to see him. Same thing with Bob Marley. They left a lot of the Bob Marley stuff out because his children were all producers on the movie. All right, let's move on. What else we got here? Ruby Bands says, this is the first time I've caught the Harloff show live. Been watching for years. Love y'all. Well, wait till you see Kristian hosting it.
I know.
Thank you, bud. Billy Atwood. Rocha, I got to ask, what are your thoughts on that CM Punk and Rollins promo last night?
What were your thoughts on the USA putting out their final goodbye to Raw, man? That made me sad.
It was, right? It was beautiful, the way they put it together. And it's, but I've seen the WWE jump networks in my 4 decades of watching the WWE. So It's not a surprise. I think Netflix is going to be super interesting. And after the NFL live games, I'm very comfortable to see what they do with Raw, because people were obviously getting on them with what happened there on Netflix Live a few weeks ago. So I now have a much more calm situation going into it next Monday. That being said, yeah, I thought it was really sad, but that promo was absolute fire. And this is what's great about wrestling and what I wanted to bring with Kristian's encouragement to the Schmodown. Walk the line and make comments that are real about real stuff with the approval of the people you're doing it with, right? Punk or Rollins didn't say anything that Punk or Rollins didn't tell them they were going to reference, right? So that's what makes great promo work. When people know the reality of a situation and then you comment on the reality of the situation, that was fun promos, And so seeing these guys go at it and Vince getting skewered by CM Punk was a surprise. So yeah, it was incredible promo for sure. Did you see it or not, Winston? You didn't see it,
I did not. And just from the standpoint of, I am also not, I am a kind of at this point, a uber casual wrestling fan. Earlier this year, the Royal Rumble is what got me back into it, and then everything that was going on with The Rock and with Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, Cody.
Yeah, and all that got me to come back into it a little bit. But it's somebody says you should check this out, I'll go, oh, okay. But not the way I was as a kid. As a kid, man, I ate that. I watched the Vince McMahon documentary. I'll tell you that much. I saw that.
But it's 13 minutes, this promo off. And you who like battles of people taking each other down, I think you're going to love it. All right,
I'll check it out.
All right, what we got here? Billy Atwood back again saying, do you guys see any of the upcoming Avengers or next Avatar movie possibly beating Force Awakens' domestic box office record of $940 million? Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, what did Avatar 2 do domestically?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me see here. I mean, because you got what, three more of those to go?
So it's 940. Damn. It looks like they got domestically 684.
Yeah.
I mean, in theory, it's possible that they can, but those movies have to slap. It's not that The Force Awakens necessarily slapped all that hard. I think people were just yearning so hard for like a continuation of story.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, potentially.
Avengers Endgame made $2.8 billion
worldwide.
Right. Domestically, it was 858.
So it was close.
I think
close.
I think because you're bringing in everybody back, I think you have a real shot at it for sure.
Okay, so let's see. Infinity War was 678, and then like you said, 858 for Endgame. I mean, yes, there is a high probability, but you also have to remember, even with bringing everybody back, those movies were fantastic.
Yes, the movies
we have lost a lot of faith in the MCU right now. It has been very rocky, so that's the thing that makes it a little hard. I hate to say it, but I guess Avatar kind of has a slightly better chance of doing it because there's nobody's like, man, them Avatar movies are trash now. But people that didn't really like them or thought they were mid felt the same way, and the people that loved them showed the F up. So, I think they have a higher probability than the Avengers currently.
Well, that's why I think it's going to be interesting to see if it's Avengers. I think Avengers has a better chance of doing it if it's a good movie. And that's why I think they brought back the Russo brothers. I mean, the Russo brothers were the ones who give you Avengers and Endgame. So if you're going to break the record, those two coming back to do both of these movies, there's a real chance that they do it. So we will see, though. We will see. All right, what's next? Shelf President says, we all wanted President Jack Ryan Clancy sequel. Yeah, for sure. For sure. At some point down the road, that would have been nice. But, they're going to keep bringing back Jack Ryans. I mean, Krasinski's just the latest. They're going to eventually reboot that for sure. And we'll see someone else we really love in that role. All right, what else is next? Billy Atwood back again says, Rocha, happy your Commanders are in the playoffs. Thank you, Billy. But let's go Ravens and Lamar Jackson. Well, thankfully, we won't see them unless we miraculously get into the Super Bowl, and they do as well. But it looks like we might be playing
the NFC. Dude, you're probably gonna. You think you're gonna take 6 or 7?
Yeah, 6. If we beat you guys this weekend, we take 6. We lock in 6, which means John Rocha is driving up to LA to be at SoFi to watch a game against the Rams. And if we beat the Rams, I think
No, if you beat the Rams, that's it. You'll get one at best.
I think we can get into the NFC Championship.
No, you can't. Rams. I'm sorry, you can't get into the NFC Championship game. Who are you gonna beat? Who are you gonna beat after that? You're gonna beat the Eagles, the Vikings, or the damn Lions? No, you're not.
Well, we can beat the Vikings, 100%.
No, you can't.
Well, we can beat the Vikings. Sam Darnold can be got, son.
Sam Darnold just had a career game.
Yeah, just like Kirk Cousins did in the regular season. But when you get to the playoffs, it's a whole nother ball game.
And what makes you think that Mr. 20, as much as I love Dan Quinn, Mr. 28-3 is ready to do that? Stop it, you delusional boy.
To the Super Bowl? They got to the Super Bowl.
You delusional boy. That was peak Matt Ryan and peak Julio Jones.
That's true.
Scary Terry ain't no Julio, and
right
Jaden ain't no Matt Ryan MVP season. He is in contention for Rookie of the Year, but he might lose that to Bo Nix. So stop it.
And they have a better defense than we have right now.
Thank you.
100%. All right. I'm just dreaming. Look, it's just icing on the cake that we got in. Jeans Gray says, Happy New Year's, gang. Same to you. I loved Colleen Wing's arc in Iron Fist. Could you see her being brought into the MCU via Shang-Chi too? Winston, I think so.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Honestly. A lot of people I could also see that as maybe she gets introduced in like Secret Wars or Doomsday, however that plays out, and then happens to naturally team up with Shang-Chi, and then that's how you transition her into that. I could see that too, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think we had an early version of Iron Fist in the most recent Cowboy episode or Western episode of What If with Shang-Chi and Kate Bishop. So I think they have plans for Iron Fist in that universe and to make it make sense. So I could see that. And a lot of people loved Colleen in that series. So why not? Yeah. All right. What do we got? Matt Sinister McCall says Beth Snyder, Batman and Blade crossover in 2099. See that. Do it. Corn Emperor says Tequila Blade Runner double feature. We'll see. We'll see.
Aren't those really long?
Yes. Sorry. Well, the second one is for sure. 24. Okay. Matt Sinister McCall says, Winston, don't watch Blade Runner 69. Wrong movie. Hello.
That's the Lord. Okay. That's like going that's like Wicked putting wicked.com on the back of their toys when they meant to put Wicked the movie on the back of the toys.
It gives a whole new meaning to the phrase of the Rutger Hauer says in the original Blade Runner when he's like, I've seen things that you haven't seen that would make your eyes melt. Mike Troy says, who's worse, Gunn Bros or Snyder Bros?
Well, I don't really know Gunn Bro. Are there people that cape that so hard that they're ready to cut people?
Say something negative about James Gunn. They'll come at you. 2 or 3 weeks ago, go into the comment section of this show when I talked about James Gunn and Creature Commandos and all that. People were very upset at me. So I think you can't compare them because the Gunn Bros are just starting out. And Superman hasn't come out.
I was going to say. That's like trying to compare Jaden Daniels to Patrick Mahomes. One has won multiple MVPs and Super Bowls. The other has just gotten started. So it doesn't mean that they can't turn into a menace, but they're not there yet.
Yeah. So I think you compare, but the Gunn Bros are starting to smell like the Snyder Bros for sure. So
I heard the Agatha Bros were a problem. Coy said it ruined the show for him because he didn't like it at the beginning. He's like, this just isn't for me. And then he was like, I actually really like this. And they were, don't you say it now. You don't say none. You just, and I was like, for real? People need to take some damn Xanax and calm down.
People just mad, man.
Big mad.
They need something to be mad about. Robbie Band says the DCU is shaping up to be exactly what I was hoping it was going to be since Gunn stepped in. I don't know how to take that comment.
What was it again? Say that one more time.
The DCU is shaping up to be exactly what I was hoping it was going to be since Gunn stepped in. I think that's a smiley face.
It looks like a smiley face. It doesn't look like a sarcastic one either. So, okay, cool. I'm happy to hear that then, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, never mind.
Luke TG1 TTV says, started Dune Prophecy, like it a lot. Yeah, thanks so much for all your work. Wishing you all the best and hope you have an amazing 2025. Stay nerdy. Absolutely. Yeah, stick with Dune Prophecy. It gets better every episode. The finale is good. It didn't quite hit the heights I was hoping it would hit, but I'm excited for a season 2 because of what they presented. So yeah, definitely watch it. Mr. I Crap and Shits. There you
Have you
go.
not heard that one before?
Wishing you guys a very happy new year. I love that his team is the Browns and he's crap and shits. That just makes all the sense.
Look, man, Mr. Badman, the guano. That's all that is.
All right, what else have we got here, Luke? Don Ronaldo McWhiskey. I love Don. He says, Happy New Year to everyone. And what is y'all's adult beverage of choice this evening? Some bourbon, some tequila, nice cold beer. Congrats on making it through 2024 and good luck in 2025. Cheers.
For me, I mean, it's really gonna just depend on how I feel. Like we're throwing a New Year's party. So I will probably be sipping on some scotch most of the night because then I can slow down versus if I'm like drinking beer or if I'm doing like shots with people, then I'll go too hard and then I'll go from, oh, this is a cold to, oh, you just lost the rest of the week. So I'm gonna take it easy and just sip on scotch. What about you?
No, we're just chilling out, watching the stuff. We'll probably be in bed by 10. Like, honestly, a new year is a new year and it's great and all, but then tomorrow's when the day starts. And tomorrow is all the college football, baby. Yeah.
You can do that hungover, just lay down.
Oh, yeah, but I don't drink, man. I rarely drink anymore.
I didn't know that.
You can't bounce back like you could.
No, on that I know, but I didn't know you don't drink.
When I was your age, I could bounce back like crazy. Now it's like,
do you know how old I am now? Like I'm already, the hangovers beat me up.
Oh, do they? Well, no, I've never gotten hangovers. I've never gotten hangovers in my entire life. I don't get hangovers,
bro.
What I get is super tired and like nose dry, and that just frustrates me. But I don't get like loud noises or anything. That doesn't bother me.
It just depends. It depends. I've always been good. I figured out my limit pretty early when I was young, and so I rarely go so overboard I'm not paying attention. And so I could still get a hangover, but typically it is exhaustion. If I went a little too overboard, then it would be, upset stomach or headache or whatever. But for the most part, I'm drinking water. I take a B12.
Yeah, I gotta be smart.
Like I'm hitting a liquid IV before bed. Like I'm good on my self care, bro.
It's like when it's like
real talk. You look at my nightstand, it's like a bottle of water, a bottle with that liquid IV, some tea. There's a coconut water over there. I'm like, hydration. Let me stop doing that before somebody turns that to be.
Brooklyn says, read my lips. Commanders are going down. Probably. We're probably losing the first round, but whatever, man. It's just fun to be in the playoffs. It's just fun for us to be in the playoffs. And the future with Jaden looks bright if they can now attract more people in the offseason to want to play for a winning team, knowing Jaden is the quarterback. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. PLD, of course, contributing on a Winston A. Marshall show, not on a John Rocha show, says if you start World Series Game 5 at 10:26:44 tonight, you can watch the ball drop in New York right at midnight. F the Yankees. Oh, and this one, of course, he misspelled it. He's from Houston. Only counts for Winston.
First of all, you watch your mouth talking about Texas, boy.
I just say Texas.
I mean, after Astros, though. Let's be real. After Astros. I don't F with no Astros.
Garbage can.
I don't F with no Astros. Yes, they beat on garbage cans because they're trash. So that's the whole thing. But Texas, I'm not like, us Texas boys. And I gotta,
I respect Texas, but I've been in Houston. Come on now. All right. What's the next one?
He says he's from New York.
Eric Kirby says, Winston, White Dog 1982, do a reaction for that movie.
All right. Let me add
Eric, no one has heard of that movie. When you build YouTube channels, you have to watch movies that a lot of people want to watch you watch. So you got to suggest movies that are big movies that he hasn't watched.
White Dog.
PLD says he's from New York, but he hates New York. Do you hate the Yankees? Is he a Mets fan? Is PLD a Mets fan? I could see him in what's his face?
Bro, it's about a dog that they're trying to deprogram because the dog has been trained to kill black people.
Oh, well, now I changed my mind. Do a reaction to that movie. I love this idea.
Jesus Christ.
I will totally watch that.
Oh, my God.
He's a Red Sox fan? Oh, that makes so much sense.
Bro, the tagline?
Yeah, what's the tagline?
When man's best friend becomes his fiercest enemy. It's based off of a novel, apparently.
It should say when black man's best friend becomes his fiercest enemy, not the white man's best friend.
Making my way downtown, walking fast. This dog's trying to eat my ass. Like just.
Yeah, we were on some shit in the 80s, that's for sure. Mir Gem Serenity Moon says, what is you guys' favorite kind of music? Oh man, there's no favorite kinds.
Hip-hop.
I have so many. What about you?
Hip-hop. That's easy.
Oh, hip-hop. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy. I mean, I like a lot of different genres of music, but for sure hip-hop.
Yeah. Definitely hip-hop, rap. I like rock. I like pop. I like jazz. I really like jazz. Vocalist stuff with Sinatra. So yeah, I'm just all over the place, man. Jeans Gray says, are they making another season of Agatha as a through point to get Tommy introduced in time for Young Avengers? I said that, right? That they have to at some point. Well, I meant
you can do that. You can do that in Vision Quest. There's no reason why you can't bring Billy into Vision Quest and have that happen there. And that's the final thing that maybe brings White Vision back to being Vision. He's like, my boys.
Yeah. It's my boy. What's his face in Goblet of Fire? That's my boy.
That's my boy. That's my boy. That was actually really rough. I don't know why I'm making fun of that.
That's the worst overacting I've ever seen. It was the worst.
You let him live. They killed Robert Pattinson. They killed the Batman. All right, they killed Mr. Batman.
It's to me, Steve. If Leo DiCaprio joined MCU or DCU, who would he be? He would never join the MCU or DCU, so I can't answer that.
I don't think he would, but he would have been great as Doom, in my opinion.
Oh, I could have.
I'm thinking of him as I'm thinking of him as Candy and that same kind of arrogance that he had on Candyland and Django, and you make him Doom, and he's just constantly pissed off. So you take his Jordan, oh my God,
Jordan Belfort,
Jordan Belfort, and you mix him with Candy. And there's your Doom. I would have loved to have seen that over RDJ. But
brother, you are not wrong. That would have been so interesting.
It would have been incredible. But it's what it is. We got what we got.
All right, Richard.
Wait. What? I just heard my mom in my head being like, "Mom, can I have Leonardo DiCaprio as Doom? We got Doom at home, and his name is Robert Downey Jr."
Richard. I'm not buying DiCaprio. Richard Okaturo says, John Winston.
You got DiCaprio money? Instead of McDonald's money, you got the Leonardo DiCaprio money? I didn't think so.
Bobby Peacock, you got that money. Thanks for all you do. Love the discussions about these topics. Wishing you all a happy new year. He said, go Bills. Bills Mafia, Richard. Represent. Respect, man. Yeah. Thank you for the comments. And, of course, Winston and I also wish you a happy new year, and hopefully this is the Bills year. I would love to see the Bills win the Super Bowl once and for all.
Not this year. I genuinely at this particular juncture, I would only want one of two things to happen. I genuinely want to see the Chiefs just do it. Get the three-peat. It's never been done. We get to watch history. I would love to see that. And if not, the only team that has had a bigger drought of any sort of success is the Lions. Once either one of those is done, Bills can have at it. Bills could go on go back to 4 more Super Bowls and then win all 4, and then they could break the record immediately after. But I really just want to see the history at this point, and the fact that the Chiefs are good enough to still do it. I kind of want to see it happen.
It could be Lions Bills. That could be so interesting. Lions versus Bills, man. Kablooey says, Gun Glazers unite. Gun Glazers unite? I don't know what that means. Gun Glazers unite. You know what that means? I don't know what that means.
Nope. I don't know if maybe that's what gun bros are, or gun glazers.
Well, gun glazers, maybe. All right. What else we got, Luke? Matt Thomas, there's your boy, says to support and say Bel Air is the underrated show of 2024. Sad it's ending, but glad we won't finish on a cliffhanger. Also, go Bucks, F Oregon, Ohio. That is today. That's right. Is that today? I think that's today or tomorrow. Well, here's a little story, Matt. First of all, I reviewed the first season of Bel Air every week on the old Hollywood Critics Association YouTube channel. So I liked Bel Air. I loved the interpretation. I never was the biggest Fresh Prince of Bel Air fan, so I kind of went backwards into it by watching this show, then went back and watched some episodes of Fresh Prince and saw how they adapted. It was really marveling. And Cassandra Freeman is a friend of mine. We went to school together at Florida State. We flirted every once in a while with each other for a few years. And So I cheer for her greatly. So I love that she's a part of the show. I love that she's doing so well. Black actors in Hollywood is very tough. And the two I went to college with, Andre Holland and Cassandra Freeman, are blowing up big time. And not a lot of the other actors who I went to college with are. So the fact that these two black actors, you have to work harder. You have less opportunities. The fact that they're succeeding and thriving and growing. Andre's most recent film, Exhibiting Forgiveness. If you guys haven't seen that, definitely watch it. He's great in that. So I'm such a fan of both Cassandra and Andre. So I love that Bel Air, people enjoyed the show, and I'm sad it's ending, but I'm sure she'll find a new show or movie to get involved. Yeah. Do you watch Bel Air, brother? Is it your thing?
Oh yeah. Look, Matt Thomas also brought that up because we have now shot both a season 2 and a season 3 review, and
right on.
And our brother gets busy and hasn't finished editing them and needs to put them out. So there's that. I'm sorry, Matt. I know why you did that. I'm not.
He's trying to.
I'm trying to edit it now. I gotta wait until my computer gets here. So if maybe in 2025 it'll be like a Patreon exclusive to start, and then I'll drop it. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Maybe we'll save it for right before season 4 drops. Be like, here's a review for the. God, oh my God,
Matt, don't be passive aggressive on him.
He's not. He's done this multiple times. He said it to my face, and he's done it in comments. He's like, "You gonna listen to me today?"
Oh, fair enough. I don't respect that. Then brother wants to be heard. Kablooey says, Kablooey, he just changed his name again. How would you guys feel about Henry Cavill as the DCU's Batman? No. No.
I don't think you need to do that. I'm not. I like Cavill, but I don't know. There's other places we could put him.
You want to send the Snyder Bros into absolute meltdown? Bring back Cavill to play Batman.
Matt just texted me. He goes, "It actually wasn't for that reason." Though I would not be surprised if the follow-up text is, "But it is now."
Now that you mentioned it,
exactly. Now that you bring that up, no, don't do that. Don't do that. If you find something for Cavill that works, I would love to see Cavill. Honestly, if you want to bring him back as like. You could bring him back ironically as like Orion. That could be really fun.
Ooh.
I could also see him coming back if you really want to do it down the line, and maybe he's Darkseid this time. That could also be really interesting. I think let him go do other stuff. I think find something for him in the MCU. All that kind of stuff. But no, don't make him Batman.
No, but Darkseid, I would love that idea.
He'd be dope, especially because now it's the antithesis of Superman, and he's pissed, especially because he'd be pissed after what happened. So he can actually channel some of that rage towards Superman. Yeah. Like, how wild would that be?
You think you're a better Superman than me? Whooping! Yeah, I like that idea.
I am the Omega. You ain't shit, Superman.
All right, what's our next one here, Luke? JJ Skywalker says, I need your advice. Is it okay to own a pair of Crocs? I
don't like them, but people swear up and down by them. And I did try somebody's on the other day, and I said, son of a bitch, do I have to buy some Crocs?
You're like Die Hard. You're like Bruce Willis. Son of a bitch.
They're comfortable, bro. They are mad comfortable.
I have slippers, bro. That's all I need. And I love my Nike sneakers, so I would never wear.
I would much rather wear my Jordans. Don't get me wrong.
But I also
think it's talking about comfort.
Yeah, true. Where makes you comfortable? That's for sure. 100%.
That's why you see like even these old black dudes now rocking New Balances, because they're just like, hey man, maybe these white dudes were on to something. I gotta rock you. And these are like I'm getting to uncle age now. Like I've been an uncle for a long time, but I'm getting to where I start saying, hey, you better be playing in that toilet. Like that whole Kevin Hart thing when he's talking about babysitting. Like the reason I'm sick is because I think I said this yesterday. My nephew, who I haven't seen in years, they've now moved back into the country, and he clearly had something. He coughed multiple times. Right into my mouth. We were playing Uno, and I said, hey, Uno. And he was like, ugh. And I was like he didn't do it on purpose, but he just, as a 10-year-old, did not think. And now I'm sick because of that. And it was like a, you could hear it in his lungs kind of cough. I was pissed. But you know what I'm saying? And I was like,
open up.
So now my uncle was like, you sick son of a, I ought to beat your, like I literally, my sister was like, "Aye," and I was like, "Tell your son to close his mouth." Like,
that's awesome. Family, man, family. Eric Curtis said Double Toasted did a review for White Dog and it got 79,000 views. So you got some hope. Have Jay with you. Yeah, definitely.
That actually, okay. I might have to do this. This is a ridiculous film.
100%. You have to do it. Someone chimed in and said, do you know it says it's based on a true story? And that made me laugh.
I'm also not entirely surprised because you got to remember they were sicking dogs on black people back in the civil rights movement. So it's based off of a 1970s novel that this movie came out in 82. So that kind of checks out. They said it's a horror thriller. So maybe they add a little extra.
Yeah, I was watching a little bit of Color Purple the other night on Pluto TV because they show the films for free. You just got to sit through the ads like old days. And I was watching the scenes, of course, with Oprah Winfrey after she's the white woman and what's happened there, and I'm like thinking, God knows how many thousands of stories that have not been told about people who suffered at the hands of these people who just treated them as subhuman. And you're just like, we have no concept of it. We have no idea how insane it actually was. No matter how much it's profiled on film or a series, we really have no concept of how actually rampant it was. So just kind of hit me there when I was watching it. So The Color Purple. It's crazy. But anyway, do White Dog, brother. Don Ronaldo McWhiskey says, as the representative of the Fraternal Order of the Brothers Snyder, we will love Cavill and anything.
The Fraternal Order, as a representative of the Fraternal Order of the Brothers Snyder, we will love Cavill. I hope so.
Oh, you won't.
I hope so, because
you got mad he showed up in the MCU.
People do, man. Like I don't understand the idea of people being like, oh, who do we just say that it was a betrayal? Was it Momoa, that they're like, you're betraying. Is he though? Just he's trying to have a career.
Yeah.
The way it would be a betrayal is if James Gunn ever was like, Snyder is a trash human. I hate him. I hate everything he's ever done. I don't like him. And blah 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 blah. If he ever said something like that,
right? And
then Momoa was like, Snyder's my boy. And then the minute he got offered a role by Gunn, he's like, well, I'm gonna go do this other role. Then that's a betrayal. But
that's right.
A studio wants you to play your dream role. That's a betrayal. Okay,
exactly. All right. Corn Emperor says, everyone have a great New Year. Stay safe. I love how this felt like SEN. Yeah, those are the old days. SEN
those
live.
are the good old days, man. Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. All right, that's the last super chat. We should wrap it up here, Winston. I know you got a hard out in a few minutes, so let's close the book on 2024 and the Kristian Harloff show for this year. Of course, I don't know what Kristian's plans are for the rest of the week for this channel, but maybe there'll be shows tomorrow and the next day and what have you. But I'm sure he'll let people know. But we thank you all so much for hanging out with us today. It's been a blast. Thanks for the Streamlabs. Thanks for the super chats rather. Thanks for the great the chat. That was really vibrant and what have you. And we hope you all have yourselves a wonderful, safe, happy, and healthy New Year. If you need, if it gets tough, you need to distract yourself. Watch old episodes of Kristian Harloff show. Watch episodes on the Swaggy Blurred channel, or watch anything on the Outlaw Nation. We will absolutely entertain you and make you laugh. And speaking of the Swaggy Blurred, Winston, another fun show with you, brother, man. Thanks for taking the time today. Please let people know where they can find you and where they can catch up on all the stuff you're doing.
Absolutely. You can find me at the Swaggy Blurred here on YouTube. You can also search my name. I love the Winston A. Marshall. It'll, kind of help populate that. I do a couple things over there. I do comedy and commentary. So I have my Blurred Breakdown show, which is covering the tagline for that show is it's the pop culture show for when you need to know, see what happened was. So I cover everything from the Diddy case in a segment called Diddy or Didn't. I cover some sports. I cover nerd news. I cover, just standard pop culture, music, all that kind of stuff. I do have some comedy stuff on there. I do another show called Breakfast AM News, which is similar to the Weekend Update. A lot of good stuff. I am currently in a little bit of a holding pattern because my computer is on its last legs, but I just got news that it was supposed to arrive on the 7th. It's arriving on the 3rd, and then it'll be shipped to me from somewhere else. So I should have it hopefully by early next week, which is great. And then I can get back to work. But I will be putting out my best of 2024 within the next, if not today, within the next day or so. I'm just going to have to do it another way. And that'll probably be the last thing I put out for right now until I get that new computer up. But otherwise, see me with Rocha. See me on Capes and Cows this Friday. And I will see y'all on the flip. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. Thank you, Winston. Appreciate it. Much love to you, brother. Take care of yourself. Mr. I Crap and Shits, one last one. Devil is bizarre. Oh, 100%. 100%. 100%. Thank you, dude. As for me, thanks. Much love to Winston. Definitely follow him and all the stuff he's got going on there. As for me, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, The Outlaw Nation on Twitch, my YouTube channel, youtube.com/John Rocha Says, or just look up The Outlaw Nation and type in Rocha, ROCHA. It'll pop up. We just dropped some Geek Buddy stuff today. Yesterday, we'll have some stuff tomorrow. We'll see because we got Skeleton Crew keep going, so we'll definitely have some Jedi Way reviews and Geek Buddy reviews of that stuff as well. I'll also be dropping possibly the year-end review of movies, my top 10, hopefully at some point this week, and then the top most anticipated one coming up next week. But please subscribe to the channel, subscribe to me on social media, but also don't forget to subscribe to Kristian Harloff's channel here, because that's where you're watching it. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button, leave your comments on everything we talked about here on this particular episode of the Kristian Harloff Show. I want to give a big thanks to Kristian Harloff for taking a chance on this journey we do together every Monday doing our show. I pitched it to him, proposed it to him. We tried it out, and we've been going strong ever since. And so thank you, Kristian, for allowing us to do that in 2024. And we've had a blast now, and we'll see what 2025 brings for us. But for everybody who's watching, please have yourselves a happy, healthy, and safe New Year. I just kind of want to reiterate that. Be safe, be happy, be healthy. Take stock of your 2024. Make some goals for 2025. There's nothing wrong with goals. I don't mean resolutions. I mean goals. Write them down and give yourself grace to get to them, to work on them. You've got 365 days. So come up with a game plan and try to put it in motion, troubleshoot it, adjust whatever you need to do there to get yourself to achieve the things you want to achieve in 2025, and give yourself some grace. You might not get there with everything, but it's about making the effort. That's important. So please take care of yourselves as well and your mental health in 2025. Come back and join us at some point, I guess, on the Kristian Harloff Show this week. As I said, I don't know the schedule, but until then, take care of yourselves, and we'll talk to you next time. And big shout out to Luke, who helped us out today. Thank you, Luke. And we'll talk to you next time on the Kristian Harloff Show. Take care.